prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the Martin.
Oh my god, the ball is going to take this.
Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Pain User.
And this is Cat's Pajamas.
And we have another winner's bracket round 1 game for you guys. This is between Evil Geniuses Axslav and Mouse Sports ThorZaIn. ThorZaIn spawning as our blue Terran in the top position, and Axslav spawning as our yellow Protoss in the bottom position. And this is going to be a great game in store for you guys. Two very talented players. You know, ThorZaIn obviously winning the TSL recently, has been on an absolute tear. Didn't have the best showing in the world at MLG, but still did very well. So I'm expecting this to be a great game. Axslav has come leaps and bounds in the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always love bringing up the APM tab right at the beginning of an Axslav game. Always is amusing. You know, Axslav plays very, very low spam APM, just plays high effective APM.
One thing to note is I've seen him play in person, and he has very high effective APM.
Yes.
Everything he does is with purpose, and I think that's so important. But then again, at the end of the day, if you take a Flash with 500 APM, 350 of which is efficient APM,
right,
and 150 of which is spam APM, and you take an Axslav with a maximum capacity of 90 APM or 100, 110, whatever he's up to now, and say maybe 100 of that is EAPM.
Yeah.
Well, then you've got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know what? You know, Axslav plays such a smart game. He plays a very good decision-making game. He plays a very reactionary style as well. He's very good at transitioning from what his opponent is doing. And ThorZaIn, of course, plays that very, very fun, as almost his name would suggest, likes the very mech-oriented builds versus Protoss players.
He's got a great bio game, too.
He does, but we can remember back, you know, TSL when he knocked out Tyler with a ridiculous
He also beat
Thor
MC
build,
with the same build.
You're exactly right.
The Thor, Raven, couple Banshees, it's just like a hodgepodge of, but essentially it's Mass Thor.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool though, because he plays this very, very minimal defensive style until he's able to start his production, and then when he starts producing and he starts moving out there, it's just wave after wave after wave of mech units, and you just see all these Thors coming at you, and you're thinking, wait a second, where did all these units come from? But you are right. He does know when to transition into a bio build as well. He knows when to play the bio game. He is opening with a reactor, barracks, 1 racks, fast expand here. And I don't know. I mean, he throws so many different looks at you that Axslav is going to have to play very, very reactionary.
He is indeed, and Axslav, one of those players that also loves the 3-gate fast expand that we've been seeing so much throughout the tournament. It's a safe build. It allows you to get units out on the map relatively quickly. It also gives you the option for pressure, and it gives you the option to deny pressure. So it's just a very safe build, keeps you safe around the board, and we do not have a second gas out of Axslav yet. Axslav going with a 1-gate FE, super risky, no second gas, immediately dropping down that Nexus at the natural. So Axslav looking to take a little bit of an aggressive economic lead here, but ThorZaIn already has the reactor down on the racks. He has the factory coming. I think we're going to see a marine tank, aggressive, maybe all-in type of play here from ThorZaIn. It's just so effective on this map, and so many players use it to just get quick, easy wins on a map that can be very difficult.
Absolutely, and you know, he put down that second refinery before factory as well, so he's going to be in a great position. Ooh, drop down that starport. Starport is coming up, so he's going to work off of 1 base for quite a while. Not going for a fast expand in any way, shape, or form. Axslav does have 1 stalker out sitting at the Zelnaga Tower. He himself is going up to a 2nd gateway now, but his production is going to be pretty far behind. He is going to have to watch out for a very, very strong 1 base attack out of ThorZaIn. Looks like ThorZaIn does have the Tech Lab down, switching that onto the starport, and going to put down another Tech Lab himself onto the factory.
Looks like he wants that super quick Banshee might do a push with the first Banshee and a
Could be
ton
Raven,
of
too.
Marines, which would be very effective. Ooh, actually missing the landing
no.
there. Hey guys, I think we've got it right. Okay, there it is. We're lined up. No. Having to lift off and re-land that
See if he gets
starport.
close.
I don't think he's going to get close.
No.
I think he's going to get a tank.
Right in
and
the tanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is going to be a Marine tank Banshee push. It is such an effective build on this map. It's just absolutely devastating, and I don't think the fact that Axslav has gone with a 1-gate FE and continues not to produce any units is going to help him at all. Axslav is so far behind right now on Army, and, you know, it's getting to the point where this game is really tilting in ThorZaIn's favor, even though nothing has happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, if ThorZaIn sits back for a couple of minutes and allows Axslav to just spend, you know, say 3 rounds of Warpins in a row or something like that and get a unit out of the Robo,
And,
he'll be better, but...
Axslav warping in Stalkers, that is not what you want to deal with a push of this nature. Banshees, tanks, Marines, all so good against Stalkers, and he's not getting any Sentries either. Sentries and Zealots are what you need to deal with a push like this. The Marines are not going to have Stim. They're not going to have Combat Shield. In the event that you can get good force fields off and trap all of those Marines, Zealots and Sentries are able to just clean all of that up. You can also clean up the tanks, and the first Banshee going directly into 2 Stalkers and a Sentry here, going to be warded off immediately. I think that's why he got the first Banshee so quick. Maybe he likes to sneak that in and get a little bit of damage done before the eventual inevitable push.
And man, Axslav just wants to save up that 6-gate Robo and get that production line before he produces really any units whatsoever, and he is pretty lucky of the fact that ThorZaIn is actually manages to take out a Stalker there in the middle, but that ThorZaIn was waiting so long to make this big push. Back over here on Axslav's side of things, he does have a Warp Prism coming up, so nothing that's going to help him out as far as a pure army goes, but he will be able to do some sort of a Zealot counterattack if ThorZaIn moves out and leaves his base undefended.
You know, that could actually make a really, really, really big deal. And now Axslav has wind of this. The Observer has spotted the all-in. It is on its way down. He's going to cross the first Zell Naga Tower right here. We have SCVs following up, and they are going to be used to repair these tanks, possibly make some bunkers. The 2 Banshees leading the charge right now. Axslav is going to go head out and greet him in the midfield. I don't think Axslav has enough to make anything happen right now. He's going to be forced back almost immediately, but ThorZaIn taking his sweet time, not sure if he wants to engage just yet, and getting all of his units force fielded back there. Axslav going to kill most of the SCVs. ThorZaIn actually pulling them back with some good control right there, but he does lose one of his 3 Banshees. So we are down a Banshee, and this all-in is slowly losing its potency as Axslav continues to make more units.
Yep, and Axslav does have an Immortal out on the field. He has a couple more force fields ready to go to cut this in half if he can, but it doesn't look like he will. ThorZaIn not going to siege himself up, just going to use the higher DPS of the tanks in tank mode. That Immortal wasn't really rallied to do anything at all, and didn't actually kill any units there at the end. ThorZaIn going to make his way up now, has a ton of Marines ready to go. He is reinforcing with a bunch of units as well. The Zealots are going to start making their way in, but this is a lot of lost economy now for Axslav, not even going to be able to take down those tanks. The rest of the Zealots have fallen, and really, honestly, there's nothing to stop this push now out of ThorZaIn.
Yeah, very well microed by ThorZaIn right there. Not sieging the tanks. I totally agree with that. Was able to kill that Immortal very quickly, and unsieged tanks tremendously effective against Stalkers. And it looks like Axslav's going to try and push with everything he has remaining. Those tanks are going to get taken out by those Zealots. He only has a bunch of Marines remaining, and there are quite a few Zealots out on the ground now for Axslav. It looks like they may be able to clean those Marines up, and there is a single Banshee in the air, and there are no more Stalkers left. So Axslav may live through this, but he only has he done anything with that Warp Prism? If he warped in maybe 2 Zealots, oh, and that's too bad. He has the Warp Prism sitting at the natural. If he warped in 2, maybe 3 Zealots at the main right now, ThorZaIn would be in a world of hurt, but Axslav is just struggling to stay alive.
Yep, absolutely. ThorZaIn pulling a significant advantage in this game. Axslav's mining is going to be quite far down. Yes, not mining near as much as ThorZaIn is at this moment. ThorZaIn actually going to a second command center as well, so we will be able to expand out of this. It looks like there is a pylon down here at the back right that would allow more units to warp in behind ThorZaIn. ThorZaIn was taking that out for a while, but now has to bring all of his units back because Guardian Shield is down on top of all these units, but it doesn't matter. Axslav's going to lose that force as well. Just down to 1 Stalker. This pylon will fall here again in just a second. ThorZaIn can continue to reinforce, continue to expand, and as long as he sits here, Axslav has nowhere to go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There's nothing Axslav can do at this point. He's fully contained. It looks like he is going to try and send in a few Zealots to the main, but he doesn't have the resources to be able to commit enough units to ThorZaIn's main to do the damage necessary to get back in this game. ThorZaIn now bunkering up at the bottom of the ramp, and he does have a command center back at his main, so he is going up to 2 base, and it's only a matter of time now. As long as ThorZaIn maintains this contain, we do have 3 Zealots coming into the main with this Warp Prism, and if he had done this way earlier on in the game, I think he'd be in a much better position. Still going to be able to do quite a bit of damage with it now, but it might be too little too late.
And here come the Zealots. They do manage to take down about 2 SCVs right away, but those SCVs are just going to transfer themselves to the next command center. And at the same time, ThorZaIn will just be able to get in a couple of Hellions and pick off all of those Zealots. At the same time, he's setting up a hard contain here outside of Axslav's base, and Axslav really doesn't have the units to deal with that. Although he is creating quite a bit of havoc here at ThorZaIn's main. The SCVs will get the surround on the Zealots and the Stalker. All those units are going down. This Warp Prism will eventually be driven off by the amount of Marines that are here. Yes, and it looks like the Banshees were brought back, and that's going to take down the rest of those units. Axslav is going to be forced away, trying to test the waters here. Has an observer out, knows he can't break that position.
Good game.
And GG's.
Wow, very impressive by ThorZaIn right there. Axslav waiting a little bit too long on the maneuver with the Warp Prism.
Yeah.
Needed to get those Zealots in there as the push from ThorZaIn hit the midfield. If he could have snuck in there with 3 Zealots, that would have made a world of difference. ThorZaIn wouldn't have had the natural expansion to fall back to with the SCVs. He would have been in so much trouble. But, nonetheless, ThorZaIn taking game 1 very quickly on Xel'Naga Caverns using that patented Reactor Marine Tech Lab port back strat. You gotta get those tanks out, get a few Banshees out, and just push with a ton of Marines, and it was able to micro that pretty well, and there was really nothing Axslav could do. Axslav committing so many resources to his production
infrastructure,
going all the way up to 6 gates and a robo before, he might have had 4 Stalkers and a couple Zealots.
Yeah, I was really surprised before when he moved out to greet that army that was at the front there. I mean, he got off the force fields and things like that. I would have figured he would have just let ThorZaIn come to him and try to chop that army in half here around the entrances to the natural. But
it's much more common to see that. But anyway, ThorZaIn taking game 1, and we will be right back at you guys with game 2, so stay tuned.